There you go. There you go. There you go. You hear me now? You hear me now? You hear me now? You hear me now? Hear me now? Hear me now? Hear me now? There we go. I should be. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Somebody comes in here and presses all the buttons every day for no reason. But I should be able to be heard now online for those people. A Greenwood fifth grader dead after being shot. Y'all, this is. I mean, the Greenwood LaFleur Consolidated District fifth grader student has died because of a gun violence. Yeah, Benny Thompson's district has to be the physically worst district to live in with the chance of dying than any other place in the world. More people are shot. Young people are shot every day in the Benny world. You know, it ain't him. It ain't the Republicans. It's the Democrats. But anyway, let's see what else we got going on. Oh, geez. Jackson State awarded thousands in grant money for traffic signal research. Wow. So where are they going to test the old Jackson traffic signals? Are they going to rebuild the old ones? Or are we just going to study why they don't come on and off in Jackson? But Jackson State awarded thousands in grant money for traffic signal research. And when you're coming into their campus, it's all those circles. That's just funny. 2 JPS employees on leave following internal financial audit. Surprise, surprise! Somebody's taking money. Oh yeah, y'all. Let's see what else going on. The crazy people in California are being crazier than normal. For some reason, they think they can take on the U.S. Army. That ought to be insane. That's kind of stupid. Going on up in Canton, y'all. We're waiting on the certification. We hear there's a challenge in the works, and it ain't me. It ain't me, babe. No, no, no. It ain't me, babe. No, there's a challenge in the works coming up. Plus, you still have the Democratic primary in the Supreme Court over the 4,000 or 5,000 people that didn't get a chance to vote. That's Camelia Walker, the twerking champ, versus Tim Taylor, the guy who is the current mayor-elect for Canton, Mississippi. Which, of course, that leads us to our next story. Our next story is a grand jury has been put together in Canton, Mississippi to look at some things. What was my double secret text I got yesterday? Let's see. They said FBI served warrants for board meetings from the 16th and 17th season at City Hall, grand jury subpoenas. Somebody is cooperating. Yep, that's the inside information. And they said, hey, Chip, they called you a conspiracy theorist for saying Canton is corrupt. No, Benny Thompson's district is what's corrupt. But Canton is where you go to test all theories. I can promise you that. So the grand jury subpoenas mean the grand jury is seated and they know who they're looking for, and somebody is cooperating. Oh, I wonder if that has to do with the Rudy Warnock trial, because the Rudy Warnock trial has a new judge, and that's been rescheduled for July. I think it was July 9th to go forward. And of course, 2 aldermen had already pled guilty of taking bribes, of election manipulations, and stuff like that. But here we go. They're going. It's like I told you. It takes 4. 4. We learned that from Jackson. It takes 4 people to buy a board. I wonder how many more they bought. But anyway, grand jury's in. I'm going to go find out. I'm going to go watch people being brought in to see who all got summoned. Be interesting. But anyway, that's what's going on in the world around us, along with all this rain. Y'all be careful as you're driving today. Leave a little early. Leave a little early so that you don't have a wreck. Now we all know once the roads get wet, I mean, it can sprinkle, and everybody's messed up. So y'all get out there, get started early, get what you're going to do. And also, if you got something on your mind you want to talk today, 601-879-0002. That gets you on the hotline to Chippy, and we'll all talk about what's going on right here on WYAB in just a moment, right here. And we're back on the Chip Matthews program here on WYAB. How y'all doing? Good morning, Don McKenzie. And there's Tavares Smith. Now y'all, let me tell you something. If you want to get something spread around Canton, Mississippi in about 2 seconds, that's who you tell it to. Normally you would tell a woman, but no, you tell Tavares, and it's all over town. I made the comment that I was going to do a ballot box review, and everybody in town thinks I'm challenging the election. Wow. No, I'm going to do what I always do. Whether I want to go see the process, see if everything's done right, and just write it down. I've learned that it doesn't matter how much you write it down. Nobody's going to do anything to help at all in Canton. That's why you have to bring in the FBI and you have to bring in a grand jury and take some more people to court because look, our politicians are crooks. Some of them even think they're part-time politicians when they're aldermen. That doesn't make any sense. That's just ignorance is what that is. If you don't know that when you approve the consent agenda, when you approve the payroll, when you approve what everybody's been doing, then that makes you responsible. You're elected to be responsible. Oh, yes, that's what it is. Some people don't realize the nature of what's going on. And then the reality to y'all, for people in Canton to actually think that the state is going to sit back and let Canton be a black eye to the Amazon plant. Y'all have lost your absolute mind. And then some of you in Canton, I saw where one person rode out and took pictures, the mother of one of the aldermen. She went out and took pictures of the mega site and now understands what's going on out there. You know, and I mean, you have to understand the scale of what is going on. I mean, it's bigger. It's bigger than a lot. Think about it this way. $10 billion and the state of Mississippi's budget is $7.1 billion. $10 billion in Madison County, in Canton. They don't want to say Canton with it, but it's Canton. Any way you look at it, you take exit 119, you're there. But $7.1 billion versus the state's budget, and $10 billion is what they're building. Y'all need to realize that. And today, a lot of them won't be working. You'll see them at the you'll see them at Walmart. You'll see the workers because they don't really have any places to put these people up. No places to stay. No room in the end. You'll go to Waffle House. It'll be packed. What's your point? Chip Matthews, what's your point in doing all that? The numbers are not there. Well, it doesn't matter. There's the situation is this, Tavares. When you do a ballot box examination, I am looking for material that has to do with the last 20 years of elections being run in Canton. I want to know how much is wrong. Now, I don't have anything to do with all the pictures that are floating around of the money that was exchanged hands. No, we ain't worried about that. The white people didn't support me in Canton. That's exactly who didn't support me, with the white people, and that's fine. But don't get on this public forum right here and start going that route, saying, what's your point in doing all that? I challenged my primary in the supervisor's race in order to gather evidence of fraud in the Democrat race, but I was running unopposed. So don't think you know what you're doing after all these years. The reality is, we got pictures. But it is what it is. I have no hard feelings for losing the election. I expected to lose the election. I would like not to lose the election. I would like some people to wake up and see what's going on. Because right now you have an incompetent government put together in Canton. You also have one in Jackson, but I see where they're bringing Kane Ditto and some people in to try to shore that up and carry it forward. Kane's got a lot of money invested in Jackson, and he realizes all the money that'll be coming in through this Amazon deal and all this money being spent in Madison County. Good morning, Lloyd Travis. They see all this money, and they're getting prepared because it's like I told you, West Jackson is going to be, and North Jackson is going to blow up because they have houses. They have places to live. Canton, no houses, nothing to live in, not on the scale of the people that are going to be showing up. Also, no scale of the people that will be showing up in Madison County. Uh, they're building houses. I mean, D.R. Horton is building those little cheap houses out there, one right after the other out there in an area where people move in them with kids. We ain't got a place to put them in school in the county. So what are we going to do? We're going to sit around and allow this to continue? I mean, y'all, elections have consequences. And also, stealing has consequences. So we have a grand jury in Canton ready to go. Let's see who we get. They go looking around. They're looking for 2 more. I'm sure. I maybe more, maybe less. But anyway, you got to have 4 in order to hold a board. And we know that 2 pled guilty already. Okay. So got to have 4 to have a board to own it. And knowing him, he probably owned the whole board for pennies on the dollar. I mean, that's Canton folk. They don't know any better. They don't know anybody buy you for next to nothing. And that's exactly the truth. People don't understand. I understand that Canton even took a payout to make sure that Canton wouldn't take in the Amazon place. One-time money. Here it's gone too. That's what's wrong with these governments. They see money and they only care about the money that they get. They only care about what's coming in during their time. They don't see the future. They don't look out beyond what it is. And of course, I'm just an idiot because I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, yes, I do. I know commerce. I know when things are going. I know how to make money. And some of you couldn't run a business if you tried. You don't know. It's what all's entailed. I talk to people all the time that are trying to open up a business and they go, well, I couldn't get my liquor license today because I don't have a hot water heater. No, you couldn't get your liquor license today because you don't have a health department permit. Because if you had a health department permit, you would have a hot water heater. And it's on and on. So many people just they skip. They go, do you realize that they want us to do this, this, and this? Those are called the laws. Those are called the regulations. Those are called the things you do to do the things you do. It's just like in the election where I'm going to challenge. I'm not challenging. I'm doing a box review, meaning I am going to gather evidence to see that we have done it right or that we have done it wrong. I am gathering evidence for all the times that politicians go in and they don't understand what is going on. They don't know how to do a ballot box review. They don't understand why we keep up with the seal numbers. And look, in Canton 4 years ago, none of the books were paid out. The payroll books that page was paid out, but none of the numbers were written in the books. The start numbers, the ending numbers, the this, the that, the other. We even had 2 sets of ballots. But anyway, that's what I'm going to go look at. I'm not taking a seal off a single thing. If a seal is missing, I may look in the box, but that's it. I mean, I'm not going to go and challenge the election and try to change the outcome. The outcome is the outcome. Tim Taylor is our mayor. And from what we can tell, the plan is whoever is controlling him because they put up the money. But anyway, it's 6:29 in the morning, rainy outside. We're going to get into some stuff. And, corruption is everywhere, but it's knee deep in Madison County and Benny Thompson's district. And old Benny's getting nervous because, look at what Trump's doing out there in California. You want to keep doing this? Hey, we'll just send in the Marines. Marines are on their way. Figure it out, y'all. Figure it out. We got to take back our country. We got to take back our cities. We got to take back our counties. And we've got to start finding people to run for office that know what they're doing. Too many of them don't. Too many don't. You can say on the job training because you had the job, but you didn't do anything, especially if you say, I was only a part-time alderman because I only have to come in 2 times a week, half a day, a couple of hours. Well, you were voting on everything. Realize that. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll be back on the Chip Matthews Show right here on WYAB. Turn around, don't drown. 6:34 in the morning on a rainy morning. I am Chip Matthews. Good morning to you on a Monday. And it's going to be raining and ugly and nasty. And you need to get out and be careful as you're driving because those flooding areas will start all over Canton, all over Madison County out there on Smith Car Road and all that area. Y'all, water flows in the wrong direction in Madison County for starters. That's number one. And the more we build in Madison County, the more it backs up into the belly of Canton. I'm just going to let you know that. And I know some people in Jackson say, well, it backs up in downtown Jackson, backs up under the viaduct. Look, that'll be Channel 3 goes, we ain't got any slow news day. Let's go put a truck down there and wait for a truck to get stuck in the viaduct. Do they try to warn them? Do they try to stop them? Do they put up a caution sign from WLBT? Please don't drive under the viaduct. No, they wait till it happens and then take pictures of the people trying to get out of the car and come up. I mean, it's as bad as TikTok. I mean, you know how people show up at a scene and the fight breaks out. Well, Channel 3 is just as bad sometimes when they show up at situations, and 16 and 12, they're all in on it. But they show up at the places where it's going to happen. So today, at some point, someone will water their car down in the viaduct. We all know that. We all know it. It's part of life. That and corruption in Benny Thompson's world right here in good old Benny Land. Right. Come on, people. We've got to do better. And if we don't like what we have going on, then we need to do something about it. We need to find candidates to get on the thing. It's like, for instance, in Madison County, you also have a Colleen Wise, who is the she is the current Madison County Justice Court judge, and she's running. She'll be in this special election running for office, and it seems like Attorney Mitch Tyner has thrown his hat into the ring. So we ought to see that. I mean, to me, that's solid. That is a race where Madison County does not lose in Justice Court. Now we have other people in Justice Court that I wouldn't give a plug nickel to, but these two, either one, it's going to be good. And that's what I'm talking about. The quality of people running for office needs to improve. It needs to be much better than me. For me to be on the ballot, they've got to be better than me. But I only get on the ballot when nobody shows up to be on the ballot. Nobody's going to run for office in my area without me getting on the ballot and making sure that that you have to fight for it. Be two of us, and that's what you got to think about your districts. Like in North Jackson, where we're fighting over that district, I saw where some attorneys sat there, and these are civil rights attorneys, and they said, we can find 9, 10, but we can find the votes that we need when they look at how close it is between the three of them, all three of them, 2 independents and a Democrat, but they can find 10 votes. And that is a real situation there. You'd be amazed at how votes can appear out of the sky and this, that, and the other, just because they do everything wrong. Good morning, Irene Jackson. She's watching. Also, Jenny Halford and Debbie Bragansky. What else we got here? Russell McGuffey, Lloyd Travis. We'll say hello to Tavarius again since he's right there, and Don McKenzie. Haven't seen Ted Smith yet, but I'm sure he's on the way. Y'all, we got to do better. You got to do better. It's like the thing I saw on TV that Jimmy Rogers, good morning to you. That I saw the other day where the guy was saying we have 38 different species at the Jackson Zoo. It's coming on up. Now, what does 38 different species mean? Does it mean you have a whole bunch of animals? Or do you have some from the same group? Like, do you have 10 different birds, 5 different snakes? That gets 15 out of 38, right? Right there. I mean, what is going on at the Jackson Zoo? What is the plan for Jackson? I see everybody talking about the plan, and they say we got to put a new face on Jackson. We got to do the economic development. We got to start building small business. No, you got to make it safe first. Same in Canton. You got to make it safe first. There were people riding around shooting all weekend long in Canton, and you don't know what happens unless somebody falls over dead. I mean, nobody lets us know. We don't have a press conference every day to let us know what's going on in our government or in our city. We don't know what goes on. How many people in Canton knows that the Board of Aldermen shut down Public Works Department? I took a picture yesterday of a tree in the road, and all they did put yellow tape around it. We ain't got a Public Works Department to take the tree down, so we'll just put yellow tape around it. That makes it okay. I'm sure that tree is sitting right there right now and it was there probably fell down on Saturday. So it's been there Saturday and Sunday, and then it's Monday and it's raining, and we have no public works department, so nobody will get out there unless a citizen goes do it. Now, here's the deal there. If a citizen does it, he does it with his money and his efforts and his things while we have budgeted. We pay taxes. And what are the taxes supposed to provide? I don't care if you're Canton, Jackson, Madison, wherever. It provides law and order, fire protection, and you're paying for sewers, which of course we sold our sewers away in a federal trial. That's part of the Rudy Warnock case. And then of course we have some sewage leaks, which they'll get around to them sooner or later. Mississippi Department of Environmental Equality has been up there looking around. I mean, good morning, Donna Wallace Elvins. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why do we let these people do this way? Now, of course, they will have a Board of Aldermen meeting, and people will go to the Board of Aldermen meeting, which I understand the last one is where they were handing out subpoenas for the grand jury. But what do you do? What do you do when everybody says, Chip, all you have is negative? Well, it's like I don't understand if all you people know what's going on. It isn't like you're going to pick up a newspaper and read it. I mean, the Clarion Ledger's, 2 pages? I mean, even if you had a bird cage and you needed to put the paper inside the bottom of the bird cage, there's not enough there to cover the bottom of the bird cage. I mean, there is no news. Nobody's getting it to us. We get a little bit here, a little bit there. We have to kind of put it together. We don't go to the meetings, and they get away with everything in the world. And they being the corrupt governments in which we have that run the city. And every once in a while, a news guy will ask a question or two of someone, get a little bit of a story, but not all of it. Then their managers above them say, we're not going to go there. We're not going to get that deep in it. One guy who has, we don't have an in-depth reporter to cover that kind of news. Come on, people. The blight of Jackson, that's easy. Channel 3, that's real easy. Blight of Jackson. What I don't understand is why don't you just start right outside y'all's front door where you're located? That intersection there is the beginning of the blight of Jackson. Woody Asaph Drive. Y'all should care more about Woody after all these years, but I understand he's not the minority we're looking for. But we got to do better. Why don't we want to do better? Why don't the citizens want to do better? I mean, Trump is telling everybody in California that he is going to make it safe. It's not going to be another incident like the riots that went on, George Floyd riots and all of that went on back 4 years ago. It's not going to be like that. We're not going to have a breakout here and a breakout there, which we probably will. I mean, the whole world thinks California crazy. So usually when it starts in California, it ends in California because we all know they're nuts. And by the way, nobody from California is from California, and they're flying in the agitators. They fly in the people, and like all day it went by, and then when it was getting close to dark, let's light some fires for the TV cameras. So what do they attack? Cars without drivers, autonomous cars. And why do they have autonomous cars in California? Because nobody can drive in California. But. And then they were all standing around as the lithium batteries were exploding, one right after the other. What kind of thing? People say this is like the Rodney King riots. Well, Rodney King riots, they made sure they had a camera there and they took pictures and they put it all out on the air. Nobody was going down there to help them. They were just taking pictures just like we do in this day and age. When something breaks out, we just take pictures. We figure if we video and put it up, we're going to win. We're going to make some money. It's going to go viral. We don't help. And when you look at all this stuff that goes on in the world and everybody just sits back and watches, what do you think? What are you really thinking? Like all the people in Canton, all of you, every one of you, and I know a lot of you are listening these days, every one of you, how much longer are you going to look at your sidewalks and say, well, that's a sidewalk and it's cracked up and it's got water standing on it? What about ditches with water on them? And I'm not talking about on rainy days. I'm talking about on all other days. How long are we going to sit back and let everything fall? And then you go, well, we've combined the Public Works Department with the Parks and Recreation. Well, it's summertime. Doesn't Parks and Recreation need to be dealing with the baseball fields and this, that, and the other? That because the kids got to take care of the kids. But unless in Canton and then Benny Thompson's district from North Mississippi to South Mississippi, if you're not having a gun training class, they ain't playing baseball. Because we got to cut grass today. We got to go run the Public Works Department, not the Parks and Recreation Department today. We pay taxes to have certain services in our city. We should be at least good about that. And somebody brought up the splash pad. That splash pad, they put $5 million in that splash pad. And they always, I think Rudy used to be one of the engineers on it. But, that splash pad, you go over to that park in Canton and look at that park and think of all the millions and millions and millions of dollars that were put into it. And then all I could say is, it ain't there. And the people that stole it didn't know how to spend money for themselves because they ain't got nothing either. I mean, fact. The people stealing the money in Canton are so poor that they don't get enough when they steal. And then when they wind up all in jail together, it's going to be a glorious day. You'll all be sitting there eating your government meals, living in your government house, and it'll have bars on it. I'll be happy. The people of Canton, they won't care, will they? Good morning, everyone. And Mr. Chip, I was on my way to work in this weather. Please drive safely. Yes, sir, Roderick Cheeks. You check in every morning. You're a good guy. Getting up, going to work. That's what you need to do. Go a little slower. Make sure you make it. A lot of people wreck in this weather. I'm sure some point this morning between Canton and Gluckstadt and almost Madison, because it's always just past Madison, because that whoever runs our department, our MDOT, that decides how those lanes go right there, they have no clue to how traffic flows. That little intersection will fall completely apart. What about the flea market money accountability many years? Ms. Jackson, don't even get me started. You would think there'd be a report on every dollar and you could go up there and get it. You can do a public records request for a lot of things and they'll just say, we don't have to give it to you. You need to go to ethics department and get a copy. No, things go on everywhere. There are things in the naked cities that could be really good, but we, the people, are so bad at being the people. We just rather stick our head in the sand, not look, not realize what's going on, think that you've done something good when you hadn't done anything at all. I mean, because basically, you're going in Jackson, you're bringing Kane Ditto in, which is, to me, is a good thing because he was a part of right before it all fell apart. He was the last one right before it all fell apart. So maybe that's like, it's sort of like on your computer when you reset back to the last date that you remember. So maybe that's the attempt, but then you're expecting miracles from beyond that. In Canton, we have not reset. And then the board of aldermen has not improved. The board of aldermen could be a big setback. I mean, we got to get better people on the ballots. We got to get people running. We got to get people who care. You know, a lot of people say they can care, but they don't know anything about what's about to happen. They're not I hadn't heard anybody talking about we're going to bring in these people for economic development. We're going to bring in these people for this. We're going to bring in these people for that. Y'all, something find something in Canton that works. One thing and talk good about it, then find two things. Used to, Canton Municipal Utilities was what could look to and be proud of. We're fixing to have to negotiate over there for more electricity, and electricity is becoming in central Mississippi. It's going to become something that is hard to get. So you know what that means. When there's less of it around, price of tea in China goes up. You better get you somebody with a fan to sit there and fan you at the house, because sooner or later we're not going to have power. It's not going to, because that $10 billion that they're dropping in at Amazon Web Services. I can promise you, Amazon will have power when we don't have power. Remember that. So we got to get ahead. People are trying to do what they need to do. Meanwhile, local legislations, the governments locally, you know, they want to get theirs, and they're going to get theirs, and they're going to leave us out. We'll be back right here on the Chip Matthews Show, right here on WYAB. Well, it is Monday and it's raining. God bless America. It's raining. Good morning, Jamie Mitchell. Jamie Mitchell played this past weekend at Acme Pizza. He plays all the songs, the right songs, and I enjoy it. He plays some old stuff that I really like. Now, he ain't playing no metal music. He needs to get him some metal music, work up some Twisted Sister. Good morning, Ricky Gray. I bet Canton is flooding bad right now. You are absolutely correct. And it's flooding in the same places that it floods every time it floods. It's been flooding there for 30, 40 years, and they blame it on the last administration of white folks that were there 30, 40 years ago. Hadn't you done anything since then? Same in Jackson. You always blame it on the old. Now, in Jackson, they're going back to the last white mayor they had and bringing him in to help them out. So that'll be good. That'll be good. We'll see if we can move forward. But, a lot of bad terminology today, a lot of water under the bridge has occurred to where you're still floating. You're still raining. Like for the people in this flood control area of Canton, they're down there by the cotton gin and all that, that'll go underwater. I saw somebody out there were looking at buying some of that land down there, and they were looking and saying, can't you? Well, yeah, you can do something about all that if somebody would do it, but that's why we have the sandbags. And the same for Lacey's Insurance across the street. I mean, it's going to get deep right there. And it gets deep there all the way up Cameron Street. It gets over there, and those houses over there, and those poor people that live in those houses, there's nowhere to move to. And for those people that live in those houses, they have nowhere to go. So what they do is every time it floods, they either if it floods too bad, they wind up with new furniture because they have to get new furniture every time it floods. But other than that, every time it floods, they have to go through the protocol of getting it up and getting it out. And then the boats have to come in to get them out of the house because they're elderly people. You get to a point in life where you would like the money that you've paid in tax dollars to go to something that would make your life easier. Mow your yard, shine up your car every day, sit on the front porch and rock. That's not going to happen in a town that if you sit on your front porch, you'll get shot. You wait for the rain and that happens. Then the trees fall because nobody's taking care of anything in the city. That's what Canton is like. That's what parts of Jackson are like. The town is falling apart, and we sit back and watch. You say, well, you can't help nothing about the wind. You can't help maintenance, constant maintenance. Trees have been growing for years in Jackson and even in Canton. They grow. But when they rot and die, you don't do anything about it. And you let this go. And then your sidewalks start getting all crooked to where you can't even walk on them. I can't believe that we don't have 1 million lawsuits in Canton from people who have fallen and tripped on the sidewalks. Because you are responsible. That land belongs to the city of Canton. You're responsible for that sidewalk being there. And I mean, it's either better to take them up. That way people would know not to walk on them. But then again, that's more the degradation of the city. Anyway, I'll be back with more doom and gloom tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. The Clay Edwards Show is next, right here on WYAB. Y'all be careful. Watch out for that rain.